Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Holly, and if this is the first time visiting my channel, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Today I'm making a Pioneer Woman recipe. It is super easy and rather quick to make. It is an easy Tex-Mex chicken rice, and you will need for this recipe some pepper jack cheese, and it calls for 1.5 cups. I tend to use more than what the recipe calls for. You need two 8.8 ounce packets of the microwavable rice, and it can be whole grain brown rice or white rice. 15 ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 can of Rotel diced tomatoes and green chilies. You can use mild, you can use any brand of tomatoes as long as it has the green chilies, and 3 cups of shredded rotisserie chicken. You could also use your own chicken if you want to make, but rotisserie chicken, that's just quick and easy. Also, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, either minced or pressed, and 1/2 of a white onion diced. And as I said, this is really simple and easy to make, great for a weeknight meal, and very flavorful. But the first thing you will do is, either in a cast iron skillet, or I'm using my electric skillet here, you want to heat up your tablespoon of oil, add the onions, and you want to saute those. It also says to add the garlic to it at the same time, but I like to add my garlic a little bit later, after they become a little bit more translucent and soft. Then I add it so that way it doesn't burn. And you will just saute that for about a minute or so. Then the next step would be to add the seasoning, and I just mix it up, and I will just spoon it over the top of the onions. And you just want to make sure that you coat all the onions with it. You just want to make sure everything gets seasoned really, really well, because that does add a lot of flavor when you add everything else to it. Now add the tomato sauce, and then the tomatoes with the green chilies, and you just want to stir that up really well. Then add the rice. It doesn't specify whether to cook it or not. I did go ahead and heat it up in the microwave per directions. That way it was warm when I put it into this pan, and it didn't take as long to heat everything up. And you want to just make sure you mix it in to incorporate everything, because you want that rice to be red. You want all of that to soak up into the rice. Then you will add the chicken, and you will do the same thing here. You want to mix it up, make sure that chicken gets coated with all of the rice and all of that seasoning. And it doesn't take very long at all. Like I said, this is pretty much it right here. The next step that you will do is you're going to put the pepper jack cheese on top. And first I will make sure everything's coated thoroughly, and then just kind of spread it out evenly into the pan. And then just take that pepper jack cheese and start adding it to the top. But you want to make sure, like I said, this is 1.5 cups of cheese, so that's what the recipe calls for. In a smaller pan, in a round pan, it probably would cover it more, but we like a lot of cheese on things like this, so I'm using the rest of the cheese that I had. And you will just cover it with a lid and let that cook for just a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes or so. You want that cheese to melt. That's all you're doing. And as you can see here, this is what it looks like when it's done. You can see all that cheesy goodness. Really delicious. And it also says you can add cilantro over it if you want, We don't like cilantro, as I've mentioned before, so I just left that off. And this is what it looks like when it's done. When I plated it, I had it with some corn muffins and some corn. You can have it with green beans or just have it just as one meal, just with the rice. But this is what it looks like. This portion on the left is how it would look when you take it out of the pan. I added some of the rice, scooped it out so that way you can see exactly what that rice looks like underneath that. And it really was delicious. It's very flavorful, very easy to make. As you could see, it just did not take very long at all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. I hope that everyone has a blessed day. I want to thank y'all so much for watching. God bless y'all.